Good evening and welcome to Bolt Action 1944, guys. I am here to do a post-battle report on a game that I was involved in this past Saturday. It was Greg Hogan of Statesboro Warhammer hosted this event. Their home gaming store is Galactic Comics and Games in Statesboro. But they moved to the library for this game because it was so big and the time frame that they needed to play it on. So a little overview. Even though it was Pearl Harbor Day, this was a battle somewhere in France in the countryside. Looks like closer to winter, but it was huge. Okay, 12 by 5 table. 4,500 points per side. That's 9,000 total points for both sides, and we had over 100 dice in the bag. We started about, I think it was 10 o'clock setting up, and we got done about 6 o'clock in the evening. It was a full day of bolt action. Oh, we did break for lunch. So let's see. Okay, yeah, we had British and American forces on the Allied side versus Germans on the other side. The British had a bunch of paratroopers, and then the Americans had a bunch of just regular U.S. troops. The Germans had a ton of armor, including a King Tiger and a couple Tigers. They had a lot of armor. It was a pretty impressive board. The scenario was basically a hold until relieved, but there were 3 sections that counted. I'm going to bring up the board here. Let's see. Okay. Back it up just a little bit here. So this was the board, and as you can see in the blue circles, there were 3 areas that were counted as the objectives, the hold areas that needed to be held until relieved at the end of the game. The first one on our Allied left flank was a 3-story ruined building right there, kind of in the center of town. And then over toward the middle of the board, there was a crossroads that was also one of the areas. And then on the far right flank, down in the woods, there was a major road that came in on the board, and that entry point was also one of the areas that had to be held. The terrain on this table was just awesome. It was dense, like you would want to see for 3rd edition. That's one thing that we have to do now because of the deadliness of shooting. And I think it was a good bit of terrain. It really worked out well. There was some line of sight blockers, basically ruling that shooting over 2 hedgerows was line of sight blocking. And then over in the wooded area, if you had a stand of 3 trees, they became line of sight blocking. Otherwise, the trees were just cover that you could see through. So as we started out, let's see. My video keeps freezing on me. Okay, so this is the Allied left, and over here I deployed most of my paratroopers, as well as another British player deployed here, trying to push up on this objective. There's my company commander in the middle with my LVT and a bunch of my British and we're moving up where there was also a squad of U.S. troops in this ruin area helping reinforce this flank. And then over on the far left there was some British in a half track pushing up. So moving on to the right flank, here we have most of the U.S. armor was deployed on this side of the table. A couple of upgunned Sherman tanks, and my Crusader is also over here as well. I had a twin AA Crusader, which did pretty well. We lost, I think we ended up losing one tank, and a couple of armored cars on this side, but overall we did pretty well on this side of the board. Let's see. So at the start, at the beginning of the game, was a general cautious advance. We were kind of holding back so that we had the Allied side had 3 British forward artillery observers. So that was 6 strikes among all of us. So I concentrated my strikes here in this corner in the blue circle, in those ruins that you see there. And so we were kind of holding back, waiting for these artillery strikes to come in and kind of soften them up. The other British player called in his strikes toward the middle of the board where there was some German artillery batteries deployed. So he was trying to bust them up. And at the beginning of turn 2, both of my strikes came in. We didn't kill anything outright, but as you can see, there was a lot of pins, and then it just kept piling on as the strikes started coming in. So these multiple forward artillery observers really are good. Can't say enough good things about them. You got a Tiger here pushing up. They called it the White Tiger. I'm hoping my video is not freezing up. Let me know if it is. But yeah, the White Tiger here in the corner pushing up, desperately tried to kill that half track and couldn't do it. That's the craziest thing, but he was unable to do it. And the Hanomag over there by the hedges there actually got immobilized. So that was a good thing because there was a bunch of German troops inside and they couldn't push up as fast as they wanted to. The Germans also have a Flammenpanzer that they put into outflank, which is coming in on the German left flank over by the entry road on turn 3. So here we have a, I don't know if you can see it. I've got another shot of this where they took a better angle, but one of the Shermans killed a Panzer like right off the bat. Caught him in the side, and so the Germans were having trouble hitting, and the American tanks were doing pretty well. They did lose one tank, but they managed to knock out, I believe, a Panzer and a Panther on this side of the board. And then later in the middle, there was a battle between King Tiger and a couple of Fireflies. Okay, so here, this is my British paratroopers that I actually got painted like the night of. I was up till midnight painting these guys, getting them ready. I had about 24 paratroopers in total. Some of them with submachine guns and rifles, and one with an LMG. Here, this LVT, it's got all the guns on it. It's pushing up. So there was a couple of German motorcycles that tried to come up into the center of town and shoot. And between this LVT and the MMG team that was off to my left here, they were able to kill both of those motorcycles. So without, I think the MMG team might have suffered one casualty. So that ended up pretty good there. Okay, let's see here. So this is the German left flank. They've got a couple of transports with some troops in it. The soft skin truck has like a double light machine gun squad, 10-man squad, I believe. And then the half track over in the far side of the woods there, I think they had a bunch of veterans with assault rifles. And then there's a Pac 40 sitting here in the woods shooting out. And that might have been what killed the Sherman. I'm not sure that we did lose. So this is part of town right around turn 3. You see the King Tiger there, and there's also a Panzer with a light howitzer pushing up into town. The King Tiger ended up dueling the two Fireflies, which are off to the right here behind some hedges for quite a while. And this was, oh boy, turn, I want to say it was turn 4. Yeah, so turn 4, I managed to push up my Jeep with the Piat team in. And kind of the highlight of my day, I think, is because I've never really got Piats to do much, but they were able to jump out and get it right in the side, just danger close to this Panzer, and pop a shot off at it. I think this is the way you pretty much have to run Piats because they have such a short range. You got to put them in some kind of transport and try to sneak them up, and hopefully you get the next dice and they jump out. You got to get them point blank because otherwise you're hitting on 5s, and that means you're already within 12 inches. And if you're hitting on 5s, you're probably missing, and then you're probably getting annihilated the next turn. So, yeah, so this was a pretty good result here. Yes, and here is the Flammenpanzer. It came on in turn 3, and it tried to, I think there was a squad here, and it shot at the squad and also fired the flamethrower at it, and it missed with the flamethrower. And I think and the machine gun actually killed a few, but then it ran out of fuel. So I think this is turn 5. I think I had pushed up this Bren at that point, really trying to protect some of my commandos or my paratroopers that were further up in the woods, trying to give them hard cover. And so, but since he didn't have a flamethrower left and it was basically just a machine gun, he decided to ram my Bren, and he managed to knock it out, which was pretty cool. It was fun to see that. And this is a shot of the last turn. This might have been turn 5. I think this was turn 5. The Tiger had pushed up. They had already killed, I think the Pac 40 might have killed that Bren there. That was the other guy's Bren. And his guys were there trying to get to where the road comes in the board here. And I think they got they had to move away from the Tiger because it was going to assault them the next turn, and it kind of kept us from grabbing that objective. We managed to destroy the half track with the veterans with assault rifles, and they pushed up, but they weren't able to get to the road. They were pretty much engaged with the rest of the infantry had around here. So it's kind of a deadlock here on this side with nobody getting that objective. Oops. Okay, so this is a few shots from the game. These are some of the guys here. We had 6 players. Bunch of nice guys. It was a really cool day. Just had a blast. It was laid back. It honestly, it was a welcome relief from tournament play because everybody was having fun, and it was just a lot of fun. If you look in the at the TV, we had some music playing in the background on the TV, but if you look there, you'll see a tiger on the screen, which is kind of cool there. And this was a shot I was looking for. If you zoom in and you look through these break in the trees, you'll see just a little piece of a Sherman 76 millimeter peeking down through the woods at this Panzer IV. And I think it was turn 1. He popped this thing on turn 1. Just a great shot. I think that tank ended up getting destroyed, but there was another one right next to him that was doing some damage as well. I think that one might have been the one that killed the Panther. Here's another view of the this looks like this is almost toward the end. This might have been turn 5. And you can see the Flampanzer that had just come on the board, and he was at the point where he had run out of fuel, and he was getting ready to ram my Bren right there in front of him, and then that Tiger pushing up over there. So you can see the half track sitting in the middle of the road. That half track had pushed up right into the middle, and I had my Crusader back there between the 2 Shermans, and he had gotten within 24 inches at that point, still loaded with dudes, and I went ahead and fired 4 rounds of +2 shell into the half track, destroying it, and then did a little bit of damage to the guys. It did manage to pin them, though. Put some double pins on them. Let's see. I think that's it. So let's go back to this. So the British and Allied forces won this game today. We managed to get to the center objective just before some Germans pushed up, and then there was a bunch of American troops there, and they withstood a hail of fire from Flak Verling, and some other German troops had pushed up, and just hung around till the end of the game and managed to keep that center objective. The Germans had some Fallschirmjägers in the ruins in the center of town, and we just kept pouring fire into them and hit them with about everything. Couldn't kill them. I mean, just pins. And then finally, the large squad of U.S. troops that were in this ruin in the far left lower they had pushed up and they brought all their shots to bear on these two guys, which was like 13 shots, and managed to kill them off. So, I mean, the Germans still held the objective, but my LVT pushed up with two paratroopers that were left over from a decimated squad, managed to push up close to the building, and then they jumped out and ran into the ruins to claim that objective. So we ended up with the left flank and the center objectives, and then the right flank, nobody was able to claim that one. So we ended up with 2 objectives to none, and it was an Allied victory. So real fun day, like I say. Great group of guys. Looking forward to playing with them again, and maybe we'll get some of them down there to Savannah to play in one of our tournaments there, one of our game days. All right, guys. So, yeah, as a final wrap, like I say, we had 9,000 points on the table. Lots of armor. The Germans, they brought everything. They had, like I say, had a King Tiger. They had 2 Tigers. They had I think they may have had 2 Panthers. They had a Flampanzer, and they had a couple Panzer IVs. One with a light howitzer and one with a big gun. And they actually brought a forward artillery observer as well. But they didn't manage to do much, just some pins. My second barrage of artillery managed to kill. Yeah, the only thing I killed was an officer, one lone officer. He took a heavy howitzer hit to the face, and it wiped him out. But the amount of pins that I put on our side of the board, the Allied left, I mean, it just kept them from being able to push up. And then they had a couple Nebelwerfers, but we managed to kill one of them off, and the other one stayed pinned down pretty hard and never rolled a 6. Yeah, the dice were just not going the Germans' way. I can say that for sure. They had Fallschirmjägers, so that was kind of a cool thing. We had some of the paratroopers, one of the other guys' paratroopers, they did the parachute drop. So we had Fallschirmjägers dropping from the sky, and we had British paratroopers dropping from the sky. I brought all my paratroopers in, either in vehicles or on foot. But they did manage to take some casualties coming in. One of the British paratroopers lost a couple guys, and then one of his drops on the other side of the board, they came in off the board is what really happened. They where he tried to come in at, the opponent turned it toward the edge of the board, and they got such a huge roll that it managed to land off the board. So that whole squad was just wiped out from the beginning. But it was a lot of fun watching them do it. You know, so there's a lot of things going on. Let's see what else. So beyond this game day, we have this upcoming weekend. Me and Mike Baker are going to be running some. I'm going to be running my British paratroopers against his Fallschirmjägers, and we're going to videotape it, and I'll try to get it posted on my channel hopefully Sunday. I'm going to have John Ross on sometime this week to talk about Warzone tournament pack that just dropped, and hopefully I'm going to try to do some kind of a terrain tutorial in the near future too. I do build a lot of terrain, and I want to try to do something. I build some buildings. If you want to do home scratch buildings, I've built quite a few, and I'm just going to kind of go over. I'm not going to build one on the show, but I'm going to show you a church that I made, and I'm going to go over how I made it, and it's really not that hard. And yeah, so be looking for that as well. So just a short little video this evening. I wanted to give the guys over there, some airtime, and hopefully we can get some more guys come over there next time from our group in Savannah and play, because they've got a really nice. If we play in the library, it was really good. Huge room. You got the TV, the music. Nobody bothers you. It's all quiet. So it was a really good place to play, and I had a blast. Yeah. So, all right, that's all I have for this evening. And please like, subscribe to the channel. If I can get up get my subscriptions up to 50, I'll be able to start doing some live broadcasts. We're going to have to record the one we do Saturday, and then I'll post it again Sunday. But if we can start doing live battle reports, then or even live sessions, y'all can do Q&As while we're on the air. Yeah. So all right, that's it. And everybody have a good evening, and thanks for watching.